Hello guys, this is third lecture in the series of fundamental rights, okay, where we are discussing previous year's question based on UPSC CSE mains examination from 1979 till 2016. So let's discuss the next question. The next question is, what according to the Supreme Court constituted the basic features which is upheld in cases known as Keshwanand Bharti versus State of Kerala in the year 1973 and Minerva Mills case versus Union of India case 1980. Now remember, before UPSC used to ask this type of question, but in today's time UPSC does not ask such questions. But yes, we need to study this cases because we can use this cases or reference of this cases we can give in many answers. Okay, so while writing answer we can give such references. So how we are going to discuss this question? And this question is already asked in 1997 paper 2 question 4C for 20 marks. So let's discuss. We are going to divide this question in three parts: basic feature or basic feature theory, then Keshwanand Bharti case and Minerva Mills case. So first let's start with the discussion that Supreme Court has laid down the theory of basic feature, okay, basic feature as the limitation upon amending power of Parliament. Now remember, it is very important that Supreme Court should lay down some restrictions on the basic features, because one, as we know, we cannot easily amend fundamental rights. Okay, we need to pass a bill. Okay, I mean, if we want to amend fundamental rights, then a proper procedure which we need to follow. It is not such an easy task to amend fundamental rights. Okay, we'll discuss in future lectures, but right now we'll just discuss this question that first some statements or some points which are laid down by a Supreme Court. Okay, the Supreme Court in the case of Keshwanand Bharti case versus State of Kerala in 1973 held that Parliament cannot amend the Constitution. Remember this. Supreme Court in Keshwanand Bharti case laid down that Parliament cannot amend Constitution so as to destroy the basic feature of it. Okay, now in this case the court has not made any final list of this basic features, but it enumerated some provisions of a constitution as basic feature in this case. And now what are those features? That supremacy of a constitution, that constitution is supreme, republic and democratic form of the government. That is again the most important part, that republican and democratic. Remember, republican and democratic, as we know it is already a democracy, and secular character of constitution. Next is separation of powers between executive and judiciary. Federal character. What do we mean by federal? As we know, US is a federal structure where state and where center and state have powers. Okay, and in India we have federal or quasi-federal or semi-federal. I want you to write down this in comment. Okay, so in India we have quasi-federal structure. Okay, the federal character of a constitution, dignity of individual secured by various freedoms of basic rights in part 3, and last is mandate to build welfare state contained in part 4. Remember, so what is part 4? In part 4 we basically talks about what? DPSP or not. Okay, so I want some answer from you as well. In future I'm going to discuss this part as well, because once we are done with fundamental rights, then that is part 3, then again we are going to discuss question on part 4 as well. Okay, so there are few I've listed out directly few points. Okay, so as per the decision made by Supreme Court in Keshwanand Bharti case, so you just need to you just need to memorize these points. Okay, in short we can say ratify as well. Okay, because we can directly use these points as well. And I'll also give you points. Okay, so we don't need it is not possible to remember all the cases, but yes, few cases we need to remember. For example, Keshwanand Bharti case, one of the most important case, would define the basic structure of the constitution. So mandate to be build a welfare state, okay, which is already there in part 4, unity and integrity of nation and parliamentary democracy. Remember, as we know in US they have presidential, right, because president is the head, and they don't have prime minister. In India we have prime minister and president is just a nominated head. So here we have parliamentary form of a democracy. Now, when we talk about case of Minerva Mills, that is in the year 1980, the Supreme Court added some more feature, okay, some more feature which is already made, some more points they have added with the during this particular case. So what they have added, that they have limited power of parliament to amend the constitution, okay. Again, they have uphold the parliament to amend the constitution, okay. You cannot amend the constitution without a majority type. If we want to amend the parliament, then we should have we need to present a bill in Lok Sabha or lower house and upper house. In both the houses we should have a majority, okay. Majority should be there, 2/3 majorities or special majority. Harmony and balance between fundamental rights and directive principles. Now it is very important, as we know, fundamental rights prepares the basic structure, that is Article 32, and directive principles of state policy, that is DPSP, which provides some directives, or which gives some directive to a state to how to become a welfare state, how to apply some policies for welfare of their citizens, okay. Fundamental rights in a certain cases, their power of judicial review and independence of judiciary. So these are the few points which I've added. Now, before starting discussion with this point, just I'll give you few points or some points, okay. Okay, now you can just note it down, few of the points if you want, like some of the basic structure listed by judges in various judgments, okay. So instead of remembering all the cases, you can just note it down these points, okay. Like first point is supremacy of the constitution, okay. Second is sovereign, democratic and republican of the Indian polity, secular character of the constitution, separation of power between legislature, executive and judiciary, okay. As we know, these are the three pillars of Indian constitution: federal character of the constitution, unity and integrity of nation, welfare state, that is socio-economic justice, okay. Then judicial review, okay, freedom and dignity of the individual, parliamentary system, rule of law, harmony and balance between fundamental rights and directive principles, as we already discussed in the previous case, okay. And principle of equality, free and fair election, independence of judiciary, limited power of parliament to amend the constitution, effective access to justice, principle of reasonableness, power of the Supreme Court under Article 32, 136, 141 and 142. Okay, now if I give you example of Article 142, if we already as we know in the case of Tamil Nadu, okay, where after Jayalalitha, okay, a lady friend or a counterpart, she about to take oath, okay, for this chief minister, but as per the court's order, okay, she can't participate in election, and she has to pay 10,000 crore as a penalty, okay. So how basically court, okay, provided that order or that punishment to them. I mean, it is a very long case, okay, we'll discuss in some future lecture, but for now you just you can just directly refer those article which is given in the Hindu, okay, before 3 or 4 days, I think, okay. So you can directly write down that example as well. Now let's start with the discussion, that is question number 5. What specific provisions exist in the Constitution of India about child labor? Okay, now child labor, one of the trending issue, always we face some question with respect to child labor or human trafficking, where we also face some problems about children's only. So this question is already asked in 1997 year paper 2, question 8E, okay, part B, for 3 marks. I mean, it is asked for 3 marks, but I have given enough content so that we can add the same, or we can write the same theory in future, some other lectures, some other questions as well. So as given in this answer, before discussing this, let's just discuss that what this article, or what is actually given in part 3, that is fundamental rights, that is right against exploitation, okay. What it states, that prohibition of forced labor and trafficking in human beings. What types of prohibitions? Basically it provides So first is begar, that is use of service of backward community by land labor without any kind of payment, trafficking and prostitution. So in that part we also added one more thing, that is children's as well. So as per the article 24 provides that children below the age of 14 years shall not be employed to work in any factory or mine or engaged in any other hazardous employment or activities like construction work or railways, but does not prohibit their employment in any harmless or innocent work. For example, children can work in movies, children can work in some business, okay, their dad's business, or they can help their mom, or they can help their relative in their family business or somewhere. In 2012, total ban on child labor was brought about in all occupation and processes. Recently, the Union government relaxed the blanket ban. The bill allowed children to work in their own family enterprise after school hours. As I said, they are now allowed to work in their family enterprises. Now, this was done considering the socio-economic condition of society. That is, in large number of family, children help parents in occupations such as agriculture and artisanship. And while helping the parents, children also learn the basics and this occupation, and a lack of employee-employer relation between families and children. So this bill, the bill where they have introduced all this bill also brings down the list of hazardous occupation from the earlier 83. Okay, remember in starting they have added 83 particular types of jobs in child labor, but this actually reduced, this almost reduced, okay, to 3. From 83 we have reduced this list to 3 only, where now we have added in this 3 list we have mining, inflammable substances and hazardous process under the Factories Act. Now is if you know that children are not allowed to work in any electronic fields as well, where they have if we know that India produce a lot many electronic waste, okay, and when we talk about laptop, computer or something, so basically there are many people who basically pull out many important or many costly material or metals like silver, zinc, okay, all these substances. And if we allow children to work in such hazardous fields, then in turn it can as we can say that it harms their health as well, okay. So we also ban those things as well under this. So in next video we'll start discussing with the next question. Thank you.